it's an exciting new competition, and it could bring rugby, into midsummer almost. So it's a kind of a bit of a shift in the global access of rugby in a way. The Irish women's team could be playing in the Nations Cup in the future. That's in the season. Men's rugby could eventually go that way. It's a portent of how rugby could be going in the future.
Yeah, well, there's a shift in the season. Yeah, like obviously we've known for a while. So, um, what does that affect? I'm not sure. In terms of obviously we've no supporters at the moment, but
Yeah.
if you're playing games at this into June, what does that do to our supporter base, etc. Normal holiday periods and all the rest. I have young kids in school, so it actually suits me pretty alright. So, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it definitely, yeah. Like, but it's an exciting new competition, as you rightly point out. Um, the I know it's a very condensed format this year, but in terms of getting the big four South African teams on board, I think it's a very very positive step for call it Pro 14, Pro 16, or whatever you want to call it. Because the quality and tradition and heritage, etc., that the four teams have will bring a huge amount to the party. And obviously, it's a very short, condensed period, and we've lots of challenges to overcome. But in terms of the future of the competition, there's definitely a lot of positivity around that. So yeah, it's hopefully it's a stepping stone, so to speak. All the way over the last number of months, we've had to tweak things on the run a little bit for lots of different reasons, COVID related primarily. So I think that's just something that's going to continue for the next while. But there's definitely a bit of more positivity, particularly around the vaccinations, and even seeing a crowd of 4,000 people at the FA Cup there yesterday. So some definite, I guess, signs of optimism.
In terms of selection, in the seasonal derbies around, New Year's Day, you kind of rest frontline players. I don't know if that's a gentleman's agreement or what with the other provinces, but could that happen in the Rainbow Cup with the domestic features that you can give younger players an opportunity, or?
Um, well, for us, we're trying to manage the group really. So like we've got a lot of guys that are keen to put their hand up. You know, off the back of during the Six Nations period when you have a good chunk of players away, and we're still playing big pressurized games because we're trying to get to the Pro 14 final. You think of some of the big games that we have, and it was week on week on week, and we had a young group, and it took a fair old toll, and we had a pretty big injury profile during that period. So we have a number of guys coming back into the mix now, which is positive for the group, and it just adds to that competition. And some guys will get an opportunity again this week to come back into the mix who've missed a bit of time recently. So it's just trying to get that balance across the team. So we hope to still be competitive in this competition, new competition as we know. We know it's going to be a good challenge against Munster because these games they're always full on regardless of who's playing in them. That's obviously something that we know from recent and past experiences. So yeah, no, the group is motivated and excited about taking on the challenge again. And we've been semi-final now next week, and everyone wants to be involved in that game. So this week is trying to get a bit of a balance across the group, and which adds to that level of competition because everyone wants to be involved in big games.
Thanks, Leo.
Pleasure.
Hi, Leo. Just wondering at this stage, you've played Munster quite a few times, so does it become less of is there less of an edge to the games because you've played them more over the last while than if you weren't playing them that very often? I mean, does it lose any of its significance?
I don't think so. No, it's a very unusual season, but yeah, if you think we started off playing Munster, played them again in the semi-final a couple of weeks later. We had the game at the end of January as well. Like some of the conditions in some of those games haven't been fantastic, but there's still been plenty of bite in the games, and there's so much at stake always amongst the players. National selection, so still the potential of a tour. during the summer, for guys that are aspiring to go on the Lions. Like every minute of games is being scrutinised now by coaches, as in other coaches outside this environment, and we know ourselves. There's plenty at stake for even for next week's game. The semi-final of Europe that everyone wants to be involved in, and if you progress and hopefully go to a final after that. But for us now, there's Leinster Munster games. It's fantastic in terms of us as a lead into a semi-final because they're always great, keenly contested games. So and again, I'm not sure again what Munster's attitude is, but for our guys, there's certainly plenty at stake, and there should be no shortage of motivation.
Okay, and with some of the guys that are out for a bit, Gary Ringrose, Will Connors, James Ryan, Caelan Doris, Jamison Gibson Park, is there a chance that they might get a run out this week, or is there a tricky situation there, how you bring them back in?
Yeah, I think you named 5 players, but some of those 5 will be playing. But we'll see how the week goes on. But the plan is to get guys back in that have been out for a spell, and assuming they get through the week's training, we'll be keen to get some guys back into the mix now.
Okay, and then just finally on the Rainbow Cup itself, do you think it will run its course over into the summer? I mean, there's questions whether the South Africans might get here.
Well, with COVID, I think you need a bit of a crystal ball really to make some accurate decisions. But we all understand, I think, what the longer term objective is. So with the Lions itself, and trying to get quality game time for all the teams, that's the Celtic nations obviously and the South African teams as well. I think it's a positive step to do it. And you could pick a couple of holes for sure. But we're optimistic, I think, about trying to get the teams up here and all the rest. But then, long term, I think it's a very, very positive step in terms of getting the 4 quality teams from South Africa. And, if you go down to South Africa, you can see how keenly supported those teams are. They're huge, whatever franchises, teams, whatever we want to call them. But they're proper teams with a huge amount of experience and tradition there as well. So to get those teams into our competition, into, we'll call it the Guinness PRO16, which gets expanded from the Guinness PRO14, I think it's a very, very positive step for the tournament. We'll see where that goes. It's such a big rugby market, South Africa. They're the world champions, and they've so much depth and quality in the country. So I think it's only positive.
Okay, thanks, Leo.
Thank you.